Hey, it's Dave Lindahl, and welcome to today's blog on the road to 7,000. And I would not have been able to do over 7,000 units without at least dealing with some contractors along the way. So in today's blog, I'm going to give you 3 things that you absolutely need inside of your contractor's contract to keep them honest and to control them like a dog on a leash. I've done over 800 3 to 6 unit rehabs. I've done probably about 2,500, 2,700 very large property rehabs, just like the ones we're going to do on the repositioning boot camp, the bus tour we're going to take next week, actually it's a couple of weeks from now, down to Huntsville, Alabama, 400 units and 71 units. Now, I wouldn't have been able to get those jobs done had I not been able to control those contractors. And we do that by always having a contract, number one. So within that contract, it's your contract, it's not their contract that you're going to be using. And that's a big mistake that a lot of investors make. They use the contractor's contract. Now, the first clause you're going to want to have is your penalty clause. You should have in there a certain time frame that they need to get the job done by, and if they don't meet that time frame, then there's a penalty for each day. Between a contract between $500 and $1,000 at $25 to $50 a day, over $1,000 to $5,000, it's closer to $100 a day, and as you get higher, the penalty goes higher. Now, most contractors, when they see that clause, they may not want to sign it, so you got to sell it to them. So what you do is you say, Mr. Contractor, say they're doing a roof job. Mr. Contractor, how many days do you think it's going to take you to do that roof? Contractor says, 6 days. You say, well, in a worst case scenario, not including any bad weather days, but in a worst case scenario, how long would it take you to do that? And you say, well, 9 days. You say, okay, then you won't mind signing my penalty clause that says that you'll get the job done within 9 days, and if you miss that date, then you'll be charged a penalty of X amount of dollars a day. Now, if they have a problem with that, then the contractor's just told you that he was lying to you before. If they don't have a problem with it, then you've got a good contractor. So that's number one. You always need a penalty clause. Number 2, scope of work. When I say scope of work, what you need to do is you need to put down exactly what they're going to be doing step by step, so that therefore both you and the contractor sign this form. It's the scope of work that they bid on to get the job in the first place. So you need the scope of work so you can keep all the contractors honest and have them all bid on the same items. So it's apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. But you'll also use that scope of work when you're doing your draw schedule, your breakdown on how you're going to pay them. And when you pay them, a lot of investors make the mistake of paying 50% up front and 50% when they're done. If you do that, there's a good chance that that contractor is going to disappear with your 50%. So what we want to do is we want to split that up into 4 different payments. 10% up front so they can get some materials, 30% after you break down the scope of work and tell them exactly what they need to do to get that first draw, then the second draw, and then the third draw, and then you're done. You never want your contractors to get ahead of you when it comes to money, because if they do, they probably are not going to come back somewhere down the line. So that's number 2. Number 3, no change orders. What do I mean by change order? Contractor goes on site, sees something else that needs to be done to the property, and he does the work and then he gives you a bill. That's a change order. First of all, we tell our contractors, look, no change orders. If you think that there's something on this site that might have to be done, then you let me know what it is so we can figure out what the price will be prior to. Now, some things you can't avoid with change orders. When they're opening up the ground for a septic system, sometimes there might be some ledge down there that you don't know about, and it's going to cost more to drill down to where they need to be. If you open up a roof and it's a bad roof, sometimes the sheathing below the asphalt is not so great, so there's going to be a change order. But you ask them what the prices are going to be prior to that happening, because they'll give you the better prices while they're still trying to get the job than if they're already on the job. Now, the other thing is, if they do see a change order, they are to come to you with the change order all written out on the change order form that you have. You go to the site, you review it with them, and then you okay it. Inside of your contract, it says that they do not get paid if they do any change orders prior to it being signed off by both parties. That's key, because a lot of contractors come in with low bids and they figure they're going to make the money up on the change orders. So there you go. 3 different things that you absolutely need in your contractor's contract so that you can control those contractors like a dog on a leash. And if you're interested in taking a bus tour with me to a 400-unit rehab and a 71-unit rehab down in Huntsville, Alabama, click on the link below and you can have a seat next to mine. See you there.
Money, 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 money.